How's it going, boys? In today's video, we'll be going over some weapons that were kind of a letdown when we first got them. These weapons aren't terrible per se, but definitely a bit of a disappointment. Mediocre, if you will. So we're going to be breaking these guns down by stats as well as discussing what made them mediocre compared to other weapons. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and without wasting any more time, let's get right to it. Coming in at number 5 on today's list, we have the Stakeout. The Stakeout is your classic pump action shotgun. There isn't anything too particularly bad about it, it's just kinda boring compared to the other shotguns in the game. It has a base damage of 160 for every pellet you hit, giving you a max damage of 1280, or when upgraded, 1240 for every pellet, giving you a max damage of 2400. The fire rate is pretty standard for a pump action at 63 rounds per minute or 71 when upgraded. As for the ammo, it's not good, but let's keep in mind this is BO1. It has 6 in the mag and 54 in reserve, or 10 in the mag and 60 in reserve when upgraded. As for the reload speed, it's decent at half a second for both versions of the gun. Again, the Stakeout isn't really a bad weapon, but when you have guns like the Spaz that become automatic, the HS-10 that becomes dual wield, or even the Olympia that gets Dragon's Breath, the Stakeout just doesn't really compete with the time to kill in the later rounds. Taking the number 4 spot, we have the PDW. This one is personal to me because when I heard the PDW was going to be in Die Rise, I got that DLC so fast, and man was I disappointed when I got it. It has a base damage of 90 or 100 or 175 when upgraded. The headshot multiplier does help it out with the 4 times headshot multiplier or a 5 times headshot multiplier when upgraded, but every SMG has that multiplier, so it's nothing too special. The fire rate is on the lower side at 750 rounds per minute for both versions of the gun. Sometimes slow fire rate works for some SMGs, but this definitely wasn't one of them. I'll say this, the ammo is nice with 50 in the mag and 200 in reserve, or 50 in the mag and 350 in the reserve when upgraded. As for the reload speed, it's a tad bit long at 2.6 seconds or 3.2 seconds when empty. Overall, I'd say the PDW is usable, but it's definitely on the lower side of SMGs in BO2. Usually guns that get introduced to zombies are good, but I guess the PDW just wasn't one of them. At number 3, we have the most boring and overpriced gun on the list, the Bar. Honestly, it's not as bad as people say it is, but this gun is the definition of mediocre, and here's why. It has a base damage of 85 to 100 or 150 to 200 when upgraded, which seems like a big upgrade till you realize it has the same damage as a Thompson. The headshot multiplier isn't that great either, with a 2.7 times headshot multiplier or a 3 times headshot multiplier when upgraded. As for the fire rate, it's a ridiculously low 375 rounds per minute or 545 rounds per minute when upgraded. You're basically shooting a Thompson at half the speed essentially. The ammo isn't anything special with 20 in the mag and 140 in reserve, or 30 in the mag and 180 in reserve when upgraded. As for the reload speed in World at War standards, it's average at 2.7 seconds and 3.2 seconds when empty for both versions of the gun. To sum up, this gun has decent damage, but everything else about it brings it so far down, especially for the price. All you end up with is a below average weapon that could cost you anywhere from 950 to 2500 points. This one may be a bit controversial, but at number 2 we have the AK-74U from Black Ops 3. Maybe it isn't so controversial as most people who use it don't end up keeping it for very long. I think this was one of those situations where keeping the gun exactly the same for the previous game backfired because man, this gun was mid in BO3. It has a base damage of 70 to 120 or 190 when upgraded, and the headshot multiplier is standard at a 4 times headshot multiplier or a 5 times headshot multiplier when upgraded. As for the fire rate, it's actually slower than its original in BO1 with a slightly slower fire rate of 652 rounds per minute for both versions of the gun. The ammo for the AK-74 did get better with 30 in the mag and 240 in reserve and 50 in the mag and 400 in reserve when upgraded. The reload speed got nerfed however with a very slow 2.5 seconds and 3.2 seconds when empty for both versions. This gun isn't bad by any means, but putting it in a game where every gun is OP, the AK-74 just didn't get to shine and got stuck in the middle in terms of SMGs, so most people just ignore this weapon entirely. And at number 1 on today's list, we have the M16 from Black Ops 3. For some, this may be a surprise, but for those that played BO1, you know how bad of a downgrade this gun was. It still isn't terrible, just a worse version of what it used to be. The M16 has a base damage of 100 or 150 when upgraded. Essentially, it remained the same as BO1, except when it's upgraded, you lose the full auto and noob tube attachment. I mean, it's still full auto, just a 3-burst full auto. I gotta give it this at least. They decked out the headshot multiplier with the 4 times headshot multiplier or a 10 times headshot multiplier when upgraded. The fire rate is good at 909 rounds per minute, but due to it being a burst weapon, it caps out at a total of 452 rounds per minute. As for ammo, it's pretty standard for BO3 with 30 in the mag and 240 in reserve, or when upgraded 30 in the mag and 300 in reserve. The reload speed does remain the same as it did in BO1 at 2 seconds or 3 seconds when empty. The M16 has so much potential to shine in BO3 and they just could not deliver. With all the nerfs, this gun was brought down to a below average weapon that is usable like the rest of the weapons on this list, but why use this when you can easily get something better? That's gonna do it for today's video, lads. Hope you all enjoyed. If you disagree with any of the weapons ranked on this list, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And if you feel like there were other weapons that could have made it on the list, also feel free to leave it in the comments below. Before I leave, just gotta say thanks for the support. It does make me pretty happy that you guys are enjoying these rankings. Have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you all next time. BAM!